Thank God Saquon got away from the Giants.
You gotta know ball, you gotta know game, you gotta know love, you gotta know pain. You'll never get ahead if you're thinking like a lame. And most of all, you better know my name. It's Ball like Barry. You gotta know ball, you gotta know game, you gotta know love, you gotta know pain. You never get ahead if you're thinking like a lame. And most of all, you better know my name. It's Ball like Barry, Ball like Barry, Ball like Barry. It's Ball like Barry, it's Ball like Barry.
Whew. All right. I'm not a Giants fan, but I did watch 4 quarters of Giants football tonight, and it was one of the worst coached, worst played games I've ever seen in my adult viewing life. Russell Wilson, brother, he had 32 yards in the first half. And Brian Daboll really went into the locker room at halftime and said, let's rock with that. That's our guy. That's number one right there. When you got Jackson Dart, if you need someone to hand the ball to Cam Scatterboo, I think Jackson Dart can handle it. Did you hear the fans when he was running out there back and forth when they were edging the Giants fans with Jackson Dart? The fans were rip roaring. I definitely heard "We want Dart" chants. Definitely heard a lot of boos. Definitely heard a lot of cheers when Dart was on the field. You know what Russ is. You know what you can accomplish with Russ, and it's not looking great. You do not know what Jackson Dart is. You know, at worst, he is going to give you the same thing Russ has given you, L's. You know, at worst, that Jameis will give you what Russ has given you, L's. You don't know the upside of either of those two players. Jameis Winston can throw long bombs with the best of them. I'd argue he's probably up there with Russ when the ability to do the moon ball. Jackson Dart is much more athletic than both of those quarterbacks. You saw him out there running a read option. That was more successful than most of what Russ was putting together tonight. Granted, he had a great game against Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys are the worst defense in football. And you still lost to them, by the way. The Dallas Cowboys absolutely got exposed against the Bears today. I would not hang my hat on that Dallas Cowboys fluke. You saw the real Russ tonight, and the Chiefs' defense isn't even that crazy. Chris Jones has lost a step. The corners aren't that good. It seems like the linebackers are kind of lagging behind too. George Karlaftis is trying to get after it, but man, this was absolutely a game a competent offense could have beat. The Chargers won against them for a reason. Like, brother, the Chiefs' defense is nothing to write home about, and they made the Giants look like little league players. I don't know how Brian Daboll expects to keep his job. When you saw Jackson Dart on the sidelines, helmet on most of the entire fourth quarter, I absolutely, hand to God, saw Jackson Dart look up and go, come on, man. I'm not bullshit. Go back and check the tape. I know he did it. I read his lips. I know he did it. Russ was looking dejected on the iPad at the side of the game. The Chiefs, bro, if you saw the post-game interview, the interviewer asked Chris Jones, hey, sorry, Roku TV going crazy. They asked Chris Jones, hey, you've told me in prior games that you've always wanted to get a Russell Wilson jersey. You're going to go ask him for his jersey? And Chris Jones said, I don't even want it, man. I don't even want the jersey. Like, brother, Malik Neighbors not getting touches till the fourth quarter. Malik Neighbors is one of the best receivers in football, and he wasn't even getting looked at till the fourth quarter. Dude was pissed. If you go back and look at some screenshots of Malik Neighbors in this game, brother was absolutely furious. I don't know how. I'm so happy that he doesn't appear to be a diva receiver, that he just clocks in and clocks out, plays football, because he would absolutely have been warranted to flip one last night. You saw George Pickens slamming his freaking helmet into the ground against the Bears. Malik Neighbors actually had a reason to be doing that, but he just took his lumps like a man, went to the sideline and chilled. The only bright spot for the Giants tonight was Cam Scatterboo. If he could have ran Wildcat offense, that would have been better than what they put out there. Cam Scatterboo showed a bunch of effort. Cam Scatterboo showed the most effort tonight out of any player on the Giants team. He was absolutely trucking through defenders. You saw that heroic play he did to get the only touchdown for the Giants in this game. The coaching in this game pissed me off so much. Why? If your kicker is injured and you have to have your punter be the kicker, why is the holder still receiving punts? Gunnar Olszewski is their emergency holder. Why is he still fielding punts, taking 22-mile-an-hour punches to the lips when he's supposed to be the one holding the ball? Now they had to bring in an injured Graham Gano to kick for you because you didn't know that Jamie Gillen can't do anything but punt? How does this happen? How do you not have any type of plan? if you're short at one position, why are you putting the other guy that you cannot risk losing? A holder is just as important as a place kicker. Why is he out there fielding punts and kicks? Dude, that is one of the most dangerous plays in the sport. And you got one of your key special teams players out there risking his career just so you don't know, just because you don't have a backup plan. They seemed like they had no backup plan. The plan appeared to be tonight. Russ throws the ball. Tracy runs the ball. Russ runs the ball. And then that's it. Why is Russ doing read options in his 30s? He didn't fool anyone. He looked like a zero-speed Madden punter doing read options out there. Dude, if I was literally like yelling at my TV, and my grandpa was trying to get me to... I'm not even a Giants fan, and I was getting so incensed because watching this game was like pulling teeth, okay? If I have to see Russ pretend to do a quarterback draw again, I'm going to put something through my TV. Like, I'm about to start reaching for a loaded firearm in Minecraft. It was just, oh my goodness, you're not fooling anyone with that. You think you're fooling Chris Jones when a man in his late 30s, nearly 40s is pulling a fake quarterback draw? Not in your life. Also, why is Russ throwing the ball out the back of the end zone on 4th down? There's no one over there, buddy. There's no one over there that can catch the ball. You'd be better off throwing it directly to a defender than just yeeting the ball out of bounds. What are you doing, man? Like, just take the sack. Come on, have some dignity, have some grace. The parking lot was full of fans by the end of the fourth quarter. There was no one left in that stadium but Chiefs fans. When the game ended, all I heard was cheers because no one else was there except for Chiefs fans. They were there supporting their team. You did not give the Giants fans a reason to stay, and that's why some of y'all might not be staying yourselves. It's just, oh my goodness. Terrible football. Not even a good game from the Chiefs. The Chiefs wide receiver woes absolutely plagued them in this game. Pat Mahomes barely got over 200 yards, only threw for 1 touchdown. What are you doing? What are you doing? Your defensive line is one of the best defensive lines of football. Your defensive line is so good that Brian Burns can go down and they still be top 5 because that's what's happened. Brian Burns went down, Kayvon Thibodeau got up and went right after the passer, filled the gap instantly, in and out, interchangeable parts. The Giants' defensive line is one of the best defensive lines in football, and you're wasting them. You are wasting them with your mediocre offensive decision-making. Russell Wilson is cooked. We know what he's got. There are no more variables here. And you really decided for a full half of football of a game that you were competitive in, it was 9-6 at the half. You decided that 32 yards of production was what you were going to ride into the second half of football. The entire eyes of the nation are upon you, not just the eyes of New York City, not just the eyes of New Jersey sports fans, okay? The entire National Football League viewing audience had to watch that game, and a lot of them didn't make it through. I told my friends that I was going to stay up and watch the press conference just because I demand satisfaction. I demand to know, what were you thinking? What was going through your head when you decided, we drafted a guy in the first round. We don't know what he has in regular season play, but he had electric preseason play. He was the best player in the entire preseason. Out of all 32 teams, Jackson Dart was the best looking player, bar none. We're going to roll with what we got. That was really your decision. I question your decisions, and I question whoever signed your paychecks, because that's just not acceptable. There are 32 jobs in this league. One of those jobs does not need to be occupied someone whose decision-making is that of a coward. Okay? Find your nuts, establish your offense. Otherwise, you're going to be out of the building. Do you really want your job riding on Russell Wilson? On mediocre offensive play calling? Like you're acting like you don't care if you're employed tomorrow. People got to eat, man. You got a family. Dude. I'm trying not to get too heated over it. We got 15 other games to cover, but and we still got Monday night tomorrow. Cam Scatterboo looked good. Great to see his tenacity. He got himself a touchdown. Great to see it. Luckily, Jackson Dart didn't throw a pass, so technically he hasn't played quarterback in this league yet. He was just a glorified running back and a glorified option guy. Dude, for the sake of New York Giants fans and sports fans everywhere, I implore someone somewhere who makes decisions to make a decision, because no decision is a decision. And we saw what happened with indecision tonight. Indecision lost the Giants a football game. Indecision got the Chiefs their first win. The Chiefs did not win this game. The Giants lost. Let's get that straight. The Chiefs, ugly offensive game, ugly offensive showing, but they outlasted the Giants, which appears to not be a hard task to accomplish. Good job, Chiefs. You got yourself your first win. Hell of a game. The Giants got the Chargers next, who a lot of people have favored to win the AFC, who a lot of people have favored to get the MVP to Justin Herbert, which sucks because now if you start Jackson Dart next week, you're feeding him to the Wolves. You're feeding them to the Wolves. They barely won against Denver. They're going to be playing lights out, looking to get their mojo back. And now you got to either start Russ again or feed Dart to the Wolves. I do not envy whoever signs the checks for the coaching staff in New York. I don't envy their public affairs people because they're going to have a lot of unopened emails on Monday. Let's try to get into some other games. This was a great weekend of football. Lots of crazy endings that were much more exciting than that travesty on Sunday night. Let's get started with my team, the Green Bay Packers, who lost against the amazing rally from the Cleveland Browns. It was a very low-scoring game, I think 3-0. 3-0 to go into the half. Kickers were getting their work until the end of the day when 10-10 tied up. Cleveland decides to block the kick. They got the return, of course. Of course they did. And of course they drove down to get in the field goal range and they won a game. Green Bay absolutely fell victim to the trap game. That's all this was. This was one that everyone had penciled in. 99% of people had the Packers taking a W here. They've been riding the hot hand. The offense has been dynamic. The defense has been hoisted upon the shoulders of Micah Parsons, and they got punched in the mouth. That's just all it is. Take your lumps and learn from it, okay? No game is an easy W. Any given Sunday exists for a reason. We went into this game acting like Cleveland doesn't have former Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year favorite this year, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett wrecks offenses. Just because he's not getting in the backfield does not mean he doesn't, because it requires an immense amount of resources to stop that man, hence wrecking your offensive plan. They got great corners. And on the offensive side of the ball, Joe Flacco can still spin it. He can't move a lot, but he can spin it. Jerry Jeudy is a good receiver. David Njoku is a good tight end. Harold Fannin, good-looking rookie tight end. Really looks like he's going to take the torch from David Njoku if David Njoku's time in Cleveland is up soon. I don't know, but he's looking nice. And, of course, you got Quinshon Judkins, the rookie running back, trying to find his stride, trying to get himself slotted into this offense. This was definitely a trap game. Hate to see the Packers fall victim to the trap game, but I'd rather we get out of the way early. We got a lot of planning to do for Dallas. This is a really big circle and a bunch of calendars. Cowboys fans want to get back at Micah Parsons. The Giants, correction. I was talking so much about the Giants, I'm still incensed about it. The Packers fans love whooping up on the Cowboys. There's a bunch of playoff heat between these two teams that they're hoping to get resolved in week 4. This was one that everyone had circled once the Micah Parsons trade happened. Jerry Jones is looking to punch us in the mouth. He wants to be right so badly, and this is a game where someone's going to get proven right. Either Dak Prescott is getting sacked 10 times, or they're going to win in a shootout. But it's going to be a great game. It's America's Game of the Week I saw on Fox. We need to get this loss past us and get on to the future. The Browns got themselves a win today. Congratulations, you beat one of the best teams in the league. They have a lot to hang their hat on. That was a good win from them. Good special teams by both teams. But, hey, the Browns ended up getting the clutch block at the end. It is what it is. Losses happen. It's football. Another game that I was expecting to be much more close than it was. Bengals Vikings. Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. I thought that Jake Browning, being the backup for this team for years, for playing, he actually got starts a couple years ago when Joe Burrow was hurt. I thought him and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all the players on offense would have had some type of chemistry that would have elevated them past this. I would have thought that he would have played better than Carson Wentz, who just got to the team like yesterday. They just signed the dude. And I was absolutely wrong. Jordan Mason has proven to be a bell cow back. Aaron Jones goes down. Jordan Mason steps up. He was looking like the RB1 anyways. Absolutely great game. The Vikings laid it on the Bengals 48-10, an absolute slaughterfest. Sucks when Green Bay loses and their divisional rival wins, but hey, they earned that win. It appears J.J. McCarthy won't be out too long. They're in a better spot than the Bengals, who Joe Burrow is going to miss most of the regular season. I already know the phones in Atlanta are ringing. Kirk Cousins packing his bags, and or Jameis Winston packing his bags. They said Jameis wasn't active tonight. I made a joke to my buddy. He's not active tonight because he's on a plane to Ohio. Because he's gonna go play for the Bengals. I don't think they're gonna rock with Jake Browning. They'll find someone else. They'll throw someone else to the wolves. They'll make a trade for somebody. But the Jake Browning experiment might have only lasted one game. Good game from the Vikings. Carson Wentz is a serviceable backup, as you can tell. Remember, he was an MVP favorite in 2017. He's still in there somewhere. All right, don't sleep. And he's got Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, one of the best wide receiver tight end duos in the game. Jordan Mason's proven to be a good RB1. Don't sleep on the Vikings now. That's a trap game waiting to happen. If you got a W next to the Vikings on your schedule just because J.J. McCarthy went down, you got another thing coming. It's been proven that's a plug-and-play offense, all right? Kevin O'Connell could put any quarterback in there. He did it with Sam Darnold. He did it with a second-year J.J. McCarthy fresh off of a tear, right? He did it with Carson Wentz. He does not need a good quarterback to have that offense succeed. He'll throw your grandma back there, and she'll still hand the ball off and throw a couple bombs to Justin Jefferson. Kevin O'Connell's a quarterback whisperer for a reason, and Carson Wentz is just the next one up. And if he falters at all, there will be another one put in. All right, the Vikings are not to be slept on. Good game from the Vikings. Oh, a heartbreaker. I had the Rams beating the Eagles, and it looked like the Rams were whooping on the Eagles. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams on devious timing. Jared Verse, reigning defensive rookie of the year in year 2. Jared Verse, I love him. I love him so much. I just love that entire defensive unit. I really thought they were going to win because Sean McVay tore his freaking plantar fascia on the sideline last week. What the hell is how are you going to have your coach go down? That's like getting fired on your day off. What the hell? Anyways, Jared Verse had a great game. Let me pull his stats up. Hold on. Where my iPad at? Box score. Here we go. Jared Verse got himself a sack, a forced fumble, 6 total tackles, 4 of those being solos, 2 tackle assists, and a QB hit. Jared Verse had a great game today. Love to see the kid eating. Great things from everybody. And I thought the Rams had the Eagles on lock. Dude, the Eagles just had that comeback energy. They had the comeback code like in Madden. Oh, man. Cardi had 2 kicks blocked this game. One earlier in the game and then one on the last play of the game. Big man rumbling, bumbling, stumbling all the way down to the end zone. That was a crazy play. I know Eagles fans were jumping out of their seat. They thought the game was iced. Not only was the game not iced, the game was won. Door was closed and locked on the way out. Great game from the defense and special teams of the Eagles. It's not over till it's over. 60 minutes of football until double zeros hit the clock, and then you can pack it in. And the Eagles just proved that today. Rams kind of got comfortable, took their foot off the gas for just a second, and the Eagles struck like a snake waiting in your boots when you wake up. They struck when you weren't looking, and then they won the game. Good game from the Eagles, good defensive rally, good special teams play. I thought the Rams had it locked up, man. I really did. Matt Stafford looks really good, but at the end of the day, the Eagles get the dub. NFC East football today was just a whole smorgasbord of results. Game that I was able to watch, I'm where I'm currently at. This game was on Steelers and Patriots. Now, the Steelers won by a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers threw for 2 touchdowns, right? But if you watch this game, the Steelers got 4 fumble recoveries from the Patriots, and they didn't capitalize on any of them. They got 5 total turnovers, I believe, 4 fumbles and an interception, if I'm not mistaken. And dude, this game should have been 42-14, not 21-14. They did not capitalize on any turnovers whatsoever. It seemed like the entire playbook was run, bubble screen, run, punt. Or it was check down, draw, run, punt. They just couldn't decide if we're going to run, if we're going to throw. Most of the passes thrown were not thrown much further past the line of scrimmage than 5 yards. Not a lot of down the field play at all. And you could tell Aaron was getting kind of frustrated. He wanted to air it out to DK. He wanted to air it out to anyone, even the running backs. Jaylen Warren was getting used in the Packs game, but they managed to win. Calvin Austin finally got the nice over-the-shoulder catch. Aaron Rodgers also passed Brett Favre on the all-time passing touchdowns list. He's now number 4, I believe. No way he's catching Tom Brady. Tom Brady is well into the 600s, and Aaron is barely into 500. But hey, good job for the GOAT. My GOAT. I know he's not the GOAT, but greatest thrower of the football I've ever seen. Aaron Rodgers doing great things in Pittsburgh. They managed to get a win against the Patriots, which I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever done, if I'm not mistaken. Fact check me on that. But yeah, 21-14, Steelers win. Who are the Steelers playing next week? Steelers got the Vikings next week. in Ireland. That's going to be a great game. Both the Vikings and the Steelers are coming off a win, so someone's got to lose their momentum in that game. Unfortunately, it is an international game, so you're not really expecting any type of home crowd, away crowd influence. It's just going to be fans from all teams everywhere. But yeah, it'll be a good game. Expect Justin Jefferson and Carson Wentz to finally iron some things out in practice, maybe get some crazier schemes going than the safe way they played today. But it's going to be a good game. Let's get back to recapping this week's games, and we will move on to Falcons-Panthers. The Panthers should not be dropping 30 on anyone, and they should not be doing it in a 30-0 fashion. The Falcons didn't score once. What happened to Michael Penix? I saw that Kirk Cousins was in there at the end of the game. Kirk Cousins taking snaps. Excuse me. Get your hands off Cincinnati's quarterback. What do you think you're doing putting Kirk Cousins in the game? That man is to be packed up and shipped to Cincinnati in a bubble mailer. Get him out of the game. No, you wanted this. You wanted the Michael Penix experiment to go into full effect, and you stand by it, goddammit. Oh, man. Let me pull up the stats real quick just so I can make sure I'm not talking out the side of my head. All right, box score. Bryce Young didn't even have a crazy day. He didn't even have I wouldn't even call this a good game. Bryce Young went 60 for 24, 121 yards, no touchdowns. What the hell? He ran one in, but not just talking passing wise, no passing touchdowns, and they scored 30 against 0? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Michael Penix Jr. throwing interceptions, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Can't be having all that. Kirk Cousins came in for garbage time, only threw for 29 yards. Brother, I don't know what they're going to do next week. They're going to have some conversations. You obviously don't bench Penix off of one bad game, but you can't be having that. Not with Dijon. That's mustard. Not with Bijan Robinson, current offensive player of the year hopeful. Not with Drake London. Kyle Pitts is still going to break out any day now, right? You have too many weapons on offense to be scoring 0 points against the Panthers. That is a divisional game. You have to put your nuts on the table for those. You can't afford to fall behind on those. And now you just laid a game down to the Panthers. The Panthers are not supposed to be that competitive. Sorry, I got the script. It says Panthers, not competitive. And you let them drop 30 on you? What are you doing? You disobey the script, or we're going to have to cancel you. Anyways, good game, Panthers, for real. You thought the Falcons were kind of riding high off that defensive performance they laid on the Vikings. Good job setting them back in their place. They're going to have a lot of things to talk about next time in practice. Next time they go over tape, lots of stuff to worry about. Panthers win 30-0 over the Falcons. Let's get on to the next game. Ooh, an ugly win is still a win. Texans and Jaguars. Jaguars win 17-10. Not a lot to talk about there. There was a great, I think, pick 6, right? Yeah, it looks like the running backs down there in Jacksonville, they finally got their situation figured out. They got rid of Tank Bigsby. Travis Etienne is finally getting his rhythm back. Bashal Tootin looking like a nice power back. He got a touchdown today on aside Etienne. Trevor Lawrence didn't have a crazy day. He threw for 40 attempts, 20 completions, 222 yards, no touchdowns at a pick. Brother, if you're throwing 40 times, you have to get one of those in the end zone. Please. I'm begging you. 40 attempts and you got none of them in the end zone. Half of them were completed and one of them was to the other team. Not ideal. And the Texans, CJ Stroud's still in a funk, man. 25 for 38, 204 yards. Threw a touchdown to Nico Collins, but 2 interceptions. That sucks. I had the Texans winning this game, but it just felt like the Jaguars didn't win, the Texans lost, because Nico Collins and CJ Stroud are still one of the most dynamic receiver quarterback duos in the league. And they showed it. Nico Collins put up over 100 yards, but they just weren't able to capitalize. You got to put up more than one touchdown, especially on the Jaguars. You're holding Trevor Lawrence to a 50% pass completion percentage, and he throws 40 times. You ought to win that game, but that's not what happened. It is what it is. Someone has to win the game, and it turned out to be the Jaguars. Ideally, you prevent these type of situations from being this close, but any given Sunday, like I said, with the Packers and the Browns, especially during divisional play, these teams, they'll find their second win when playing the teams that are going to cause them to get in or out of the playoffs. The Jaguars happen to eke this one out over the Texans. I think it could have been anyone's game. The Jaguars happen to win it. Good win for the Jaguars. They now move up to 2-1. Texans fall to 0-3. They got to catch a break at some point. This is not an 0-3 team. They have so much talent on the roster, both offensively and defensively, but they are in a rut, and they gotta break the boot off in somebody's ass and get out of this rut. Once they find their rhythm, they get their groove back, the Texans are still going to be a deadly team. Damn near everybody in the country had them winning the division. Yeah, Indiana Jones and them came out of nowhere, but the Texans are still good enough. They're absolutely still good enough to be competitive for the AFC South. Keep your eye on them. Don't sleep on them just because they're 0-3. This is the best 0-3 team in the nation. Book it. Next game, the Colts versus the Titans. Another AFC South gun battle, except there's only one side shooting, and you know who's shooting? Dun, 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 dun. Indiana Daniel Jones and the Colts riding high on the back of Jonathan Taylor. What a great game. Y'all see that Jonathan Taylor Beast Mode 2.0 run? He broke like 8 tackles. What a game from the Colts. Let me pull up the box score here for a second. Hold on. I'm going to get my facts right. Daniel Jones, 18 for 25, 228 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He was not sacked at all today. Daniel Jones is absolutely quarterbacking this team to greatness. You know who else is riding the team to greatness? Jonathan Taylor off 17 carries, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Longest run of the day is for 46 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., the tall athletic freak, 6 receptions, 73 yards, and a touchdown. No fumbles from the Colts, no interceptions thrown. And actually, they got themselves an interception because Kenny Moore had that clutch pick 6. Cam Ward, buddy, you can't be putting air under it like he was doing down there in Miami. You got to bullet these passes because you're going to have DBs like Kenny Moore snatch that thing and go to the crib, which is what he did. Took it all the way to the crib. Can't believe they let him put 41 up on him. The Titans are a professional football team, goddammit. You can't be doing that. 41 to 20? Cam Ward had a less than desirable day as well. I'm pretty sure he had a negative... No, he evened out. All right. It was 23 of 38 for 219, threw for a touchdown and a pick. Tony Pollard ended up getting a rushing touchdown, but they didn't even get above 100 yards rushing for the team. They got to find a running back. Do something. Trade for somebody. Tony Pollard is not the answer at running back. The Titans, they had everyone scared when Derrick Henry was there, when DeMarco Murray was there. Oh my goodness, dude. For a while, it was DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry as the backfield by committee. Do you remember those days? 2015, 2016, 2017? Oh my God. That was a time when you feared lining up in the A gap in Tennessee. Now, it's just Tony Pollard. Like, bruh, you blow him over. That's nothing, bro. They got to find themselves a running back or... You hate to see it. There's people they could trade for. I don't know who's going to trade with them. It's Tennessee. If you get a draft pick from them, it's going to be a high draft pick because they're always picking top 5. I don't know, man. I don't even have an answer to this problem. I just hate seeing the Titans flounder. It seems like it's where everyone goes to die. It's where everyone goes to retire. Less than ideal. You hate to see it. Good win by the Colts, though. Indiana Jones and the Colts are riding the wave, man. They're absolutely right. I put in my notes, the Colts living on vibes. It's just a vibes team, bro. You see them, they're wavy. They're wavy with it. Daniel Jones, glad he got out of New York as well. You see what happens when stars get out of New York. Saquon Barkley, best offensive player I've seen since LaDainian Tomlinson last year. All right? That was one of the best offensive seasons ever. Daniel Jones, the minute he gets to start again, he's lighting it up. Lighten it up, man. I can't tell you how happy I am that he got away from that toxic organization because I'm starting to think it wasn't Daniel Jones' fault. He was athletic in New York. He dragged that team kicking and screaming to the playoffs where they beat Minnesota and actually got Daboll the head coach of the year award. Glad he got away because now you look back in the rearview mirror and the Giants are on fire and you're cruising. You're chilling. You got your hand up on the dash like, yeah. Oh my God. Colts have the Rams next week in Los Angeles. That's going to be a tough game. The Colts have a good offensive line. They'll be able to game plan against the Rams defensive line. But offensively is where I'm worried. Kenny Moore's a good corner. They have a pretty stout defensive line as well. But Matt Stafford's playing lights out. Him and Devontae Adams, like they always been together. Him and Devontae Adams look like prime Devontae and Aaron. And you can't forget about Puka Nacua. And Kyron Williams is a really good running back. It's going to be a great game. That should be prime time, but it's 3 o'clock. That sucks. Kind of sucks that today the Rams play the Eagles at noon as well. Is what it is. Colts Rams next week. Must watch viewing for all people involved. Hey, I might have to take the Colts. I can't deny the wave. Indianapolis, my family's from Indiana. They dropped 41 on the Titans. That's a team that can score. Jonathan Taylor looking like an offensive player of the year front runner at this point. Jesus, got another 3 touchdowns. That's crazy. Raiders and Commanders. You think just because Jaden Daniels isn't in there that Marcus Mariota can't lead this team to a win over the Raiders? We saw what the Raiders have against the Chargers. Wasn't that nice. Was not that nice. Marcus Mariota didn't even have to play that bad of a game. He went 15 for 21, 207 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. They carved it up on the ground, though. Marcus Mariota rushed for a touchdown. He actually got 40 yards himself. Jeremy McNichols had a great run, ran for a touchdown, and then Bill Krosky got himself a touchdown as well. They're sprinting it around the ground. They're doing that running back by committee. Russell. God, I'm so sick of talking about that man. Marcus Mariota is a great stand-in for Jaden Daniels. Let Jaden Daniels heal. Don't feed him to the dogs. Don't Baker Mayfield him. I know he probably really wants to play, but Marcus Mariota is one of the best comps you can have in a veteran that best replicates Jaden Daniels. Just roll with what you got. Dan Quinn knows how to coach these types. Dan Quinn can scheme up Marcus Mariota to win games. You just saw him do it against Pete Carroll and the Raiders, who are no slouch on defense, by the way. We think Max Crosby wasn't causing problems. They had the game plan for Max Crosby. They game planned just fine because Marcus Mariota got himself a ticker, and he can still sling it, and he can still run. He's absolutely still capable. Just because he's been in the league for a little while don't mean he don't still got it. He's probably one of the better backup quarterbacks you could have. Washington's in a good spot. Good win from the Commanders, 41-24. They go up to a 2-1 record, dropping the Raiders down to 1-2. Who do the Commanders have next week? Commanders got the Falcons. That's a dub. That's a dub. They got the Falcons on lock. Who cares if it's in Atlanta? Easy dub, Commanders. Let's get to the next game. Jets and Bucks came down to the wire. I can't believe I'm going to agree with Skip Bayless on something. Baker Mayfield is the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. If you need to get a game-winning drive completed, Baker Mayfield needs to be at the top of your tier list in S tier number 1. The Jets had a clutch block. An absolute clutch block returned for a touchdown a la Philadelphia Eagles against the Rams also today. But they forgot one teeny tiny detail. You left about 2 minutes on the clock, buddy. And Tampa Bay has a great quarterback. Tampa Bay has one of the greatest wide receivers of the modern era in Mike Evans. Tampa Bay has one of the greatest rookies coming out in Emeka Egbuka. Tampa Bay has a great running game with swerving Bucky Irving and a great offensive line. You didn't think Baker Mayfield was going to walk down there and knock your block off? Who are we talking about here? It was honestly just unfortunate because Aaron Glenn, you saw him high stepping. Oh, man, you would have thought, oh, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. And then you got hit with the Uno reverse card in Baker Mayfield. You saw the eyes light up. You seen the red eye Baker Mayfield memes? Oh my goodness. Didn't doubt him for a second. If I was a betting man, I would have took out a mortgage and put it on Baker doing exactly what he did. Marching down the field, spreading the love around, getting down just to inside McLaughlin's range, calling a perfect time assessment, getting them where they wanted it, what hash they wanted, kicking the game-winning field goal, and packing it in. Hey, if you go back and watch that last field goal, if the mic is the ball, there's hands everywhere, but right down the middle, and that's exactly where McLaughlin kicked it. Bucks win 29-27. They are still undefeated at 3-0. The Jets dropped down to 0-3. The Jets have been competitive in games, except for the one against the Bills. They were competitive against the Steelers. They damn near had the Buccaneers in the bag. They just got to find a way to close out games. The Jets are not a bad team, at least not as bad as they once were. I think Justin Fields can find a rhythm. Him and Garrett Wilson, they played in college a little bit. And they know each other. Breece Hall needs to get going again. I think the Jets can work with what they got. Just damn, they can't close out games. And I'm definitely not going to have them going against my guy, Baker Reagan Mayfield, the guy I named my son after. All right. But I have a son named Baker. We named him after him. If we were going to have a girl, we were going to name her Kyler. All right, I'm a little cheesy, all right? Anyways, next game. Saints and Seahawks. I know I have been ruthless to the Saints, which is why I picked them because I thought, man, I need to spread some good faith and goodwill toward the Saints. I've been clowning on them for picking Spencer Rattler to be the number 1. I've been clowning on him for not wanting to start Tyler Shuck. I've been clowning on him because Kellen Moore is going to waste his opportunity as a head coach if he doesn't establish a system and stick to his guns. So I picked the Saints to win because I hate the Seahawks, because I haven't forgiven them for that NFC Championship game against the Packers when Brennan Bostic fumbled the onside kick, when they ran the fake kick and threw it in for a touchdown, beat the Packers going to the Super Bowl to play the Patriots. I have not forgiven them for that since. I've always held a grudge against the Seahawks. I tried to remain impartial, but that's one team I'm having a hard time doing it with, okay? I was so happy when the Packers got Jimmy Graham just so I could see that maybe Jimmy Graham would catch a touchdown against the Seahawks. That's how petty I am. That's why I don't like Russ, because he was great with the Seahawks, and I wanted the Saints to win. I wanted them to go up and beat them at Citi Field in Seattle in front of all the 12s, drop 30 on their heads, and get out of there. I wanted Kellen Moore to win. And it didn't happen. Seahawks win 44-13. Seahawks played great on all sides of the ball. Spencer Rattler, dude, he throws the ball so many times. 39 attempts, 28 completions, 218 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Tyler Shuck went in there for 2 attempts, didn't complete either of them. Alvin Kamara, 18 rushes for 42 yards, a 2.3 average. Can't be doing that. He's too experienced to be bell counting it like that. 18 for 42 is not going to work. And that's really it on the offensive side of the ball. For the Saints anyways. Let's go to the Seahawks. Sam Darnold, 14 completions off 18 attempts, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. They weren't able to get the run going either. Only 87 yards as a team. Kenneth Walker got himself 2 touchdowns. Didn't get a lot of yardage on the Jerome Bettis type beat. 16 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns. The longest run of the day was 10 yards. That was Adrian Peterson right before he retired. He would have a 150-yard game, 12 attempts, but he got 80 yards on 1 rush. The rest of the game was trash. Good on Kenneth Walker getting himself a couple touchdowns, though. I'm a huge K9 believer. They got themselves, looks like, a punt return touchdown as well. Wasn't able to watch the game. Wasn't in my area. The Saints, they are who we thought they were. That's all I'm going to say about that. Good game, Seahawks. I really don't hate you. I just have a sports grudge. It is what it is. Oh, another game that came way too close to the wire that I was actually way confident in the Chargers on, but they took it way too close for me. Chargers beat the Broncos 23-20. They made Dion Henley look like a scrub. That J.K. Dobbins run, brother. Dion Henley, I was just touting your name as Defensive Player of the Year, hopeful top 3 to me, dude. Hellfire Henley, and he got dunked on by J.K. Dobbins. It is what it is, though. Cameron Dicker, the field goal kicker's walk-off field goal to win the game for the Chargers. Dude, that's hero ball. I was at a Mexican restaurant. I was watching the Rams-Eagles game on one TV, and behind me was the Chargers-Broncos games. And it was just back and forth and flip-flop, flip-flop. On, off, crisscross, up, down, black, white. It was crazy. I'm glad Cameron Dicker did it. Chargers, dude, the nation would begin to heal if we got a Chargers-Packers Super Bowl. Now, that would be a crazy Super Bowl, one for the ages. I will even settle. I'll settle for a Colts-Giants Super Bowl. That's what America wants. I'm just the messenger. America wants Colts-Giants. I personally want Chargers-Packers. All right, Eagles, Bills, fine. Anyways, good game from both teams, actually. This was an absolute coaching matchup. You got Harbaugh in there trying to counter Peyton. Peyton in there trying to counter Harbaugh. Bo Nix got himself 14 completions of 25 attempts, 153 yards, and a touchdown. No picks. J.K. Dobbins had a great day on the ground today in comparison to all these other games we've been looking at. 11 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown, and had that one long one for 41. Good on him. The Chargers offensively, Justin Herbert had a good day. 28 completions off 47 attempts, 300 yards. He threw a touchdown and an interception. Was sacked 5 times. That's not ideal. Omarion Hampton got himself a touchdown. Good job on the rusher. Keenan Allen, the ageless wonder, was the receiving touchdown from Justin Herbert. Had a couple fumbles too, and they lost one. Darius Davis and Omarion Hampton both fumbles. We gotta get ourselves in the coaching room and start talking about ball security. I'm tired of seeing these peanut punches working. Peanut punches should not work. That ball should be glued to you like a baby in a war zone, all right? You should not be getting the ball punched out. Derwin James did his thing today, though. I had him in we do defensive players in my fantasy. I got Derwin James. 12 total tackles, 10 of those being solos. Derwin also got a sack and 4 TFLs and a QB hit. Derwin James is flying around everywhere. Looks like Dion Henley had a quiet day in comparison. That sucks. Anyways, good job. AFC West is looking kind of spicy this year. Aside from the Raiders and the Chiefs on a slow start, but they're still the Chiefs, AFC West is going to be a competitive division. Chargers Broncos looked to be a great game. Was a great game, 23-20. The Chargers have the Giants next week. That should be an easy dub for the Chargers. Should let Herbert get some better tape put out there. Better than a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio like this week. I'd expect to see him get at least 3. They're going to have to spread the ball around because the Giants defensive line, they might take that runaway real quick. And if the Chargers offensive line isn't ready, the Giants will punch them in the mouth defensively. But it was a good game, electrifying, came down to the wire. It seems like most of these games today came down to special teams play at the end. Let's get on to the next game. Just like that. Cardinals 49ers. Aren't you glad, 49ers fans, Braden specifically, aren't you glad that this game was not in the hands of Jake Moody? Aren't you glad that Eddie Pinheiro was the one to decide this game for you and not Jake Moody? 49ers fans were so happy when they saw, oh my goodness, we can get a field goal and win this game, not a we can get a field goal and I hope we win this game. They were so elated to know that, hey, we have a chance of we get the field goal range. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Because Mac Jones, he was so relieved. If you saw the tape of Mac Jones on the sideline, he was so relieved. Brother loves football. Sucks, he got shafted up there in New England, got shafted over there in Jacksonville. He's doing good in San Francisco. I think Shanahan can coach him. All he needed was the right system. That New England fell apart. Jacksonville's Jacksonville. Shanahan is an established offensive guru for a reason. Now, sometimes he doesn't change his style and people get wise to him. But, bro, he can work with Mac Jones. If he can work with Brock Purdy, he can work with Mac Jones. Mac Jones was taken in the first round for a reason. He's not no scrub. He just didn't happen to be in the right situation for him. He's doing great where he's at. He's putting out good tape so he can maybe get himself a starting role if he doesn't want to stay to be a backup. Hey, I bet Cincinnati would pay good money for Mac Jones if Brock Purdy comes back and they still haven't figured out the answer for Joe Burrow's replacement. Mac Jones might be on the short list. Absolutely, Mac Jones might be on the short list. I don't know what they'd give him, but he's not expensive. The only issue with them taking Kirk Cousins is expensive. Atlanta would have to eat some of that contract to send him, and I don't. And we all know what the Bengals are like on money. They're short on cash right now. They having trouble playing dudes. They're having trouble paying dudes. So they're going to want to look for a backup that's proven but not expensive. And Mac Jones I'm actually putting him on my short list to go to the Bengals. That's a really good idea. Mac Jones threw 41 times today, 27 completions, 284 yards, touchdown, and an interception. Christian McCaffrey doing Christian McCaffrey things. He was the one that got him down in range to get that field goal at the end. Good job, CMC. There's no way that Kyle Juszczyk got the Niners' only receiving touchdown. That's crazy. Love fullbacks. Fullbacks belong in football. God damn it. Alrighty. And how did Kyler do? I just want to I didn't watch the entire game, just the end of it. Kyler Murray, 22 for 35. Kyler Murray, 22 completions off 35 attempts, 159 yards. He threw a touchdown. RIP. James Conner. I saw he had to go out. Trey Benson had to come in. I don't know what's up with James Conner. I'll look into it after this. Hopefully he's all right. We did see him losing a step. It would suck. I think people were guessing what the injury was. Broken ankle. It might be one of those that might be a career ender. You hate to see someone's career in that way. You hate to see someone's season end that way, but their career might end that way. Is just god awful. You don't ever wish that on anyone. Everyone's got family. Everyone's got to put food on the table. You hate to see that. I'm hoping he recovers well. It'd be cool if he can come back and play. If not, good luck to the guy. By no means is his career done if he comes back and wants to heal right, but the season's probably looking grim in the James Conner household right now. Rest up, big bro. Trey Benson is going to try to fill your spot. You still have a lot to offer the team. Don't you worry. But the 49ers did win this 16-15. They move up to 3-0. Cardinals fall to 2-1. Let's get to the next game of the day. The Cowboys and the Bears. I said in my preview of this game, the Bears must win this game. The Bears have to beat the Cowboys. They cannot lose. The Cowboys, whatever. They can win, they can lose. Caleb Williams could not afford to have another sputtering performance. The Bears needed to win this game, and they did that, and they did it dominantly. Caleb Williams off the crazy flea flickers, bro. That was I'd never seen a flea flicker pitch back hang more in the air than I did that one. That one hanged more than a punt. Caleb Williams had to use the force to suck that ball in, but He heaved that hoe down the field, showing why he's still a Heisman caliber quarterback, showing off the offensive weapons of this team. Got himself a bunch of touchdowns. Cole Kmet eating, Luther Burden eating, great game. Romo Dunze with the fro was out there putting in work. It was a nice day for Bears fans. Bad day for Cowboys fans. My grandpa's like, "Where's Dak at?" He like went to the bathroom, comes back. "Where's Dak at? Who's Milton? Who's Joe Milton?" Oh, my grandpa ain't know about Bazooka Joe. Allow me to learn you. Then the game ended. Bears win 31-14. Let's get an actual box score for you. Caleb Williams, 19 completions off 20 attempts, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. That might be NFC Player of the Week. That was a great performance from him. They didn't really do anything crazy on the ground. The best rusher for the day, DeAndre Swift, 33 yards off 13 carries. Not ideal. But receiving, Luther Burden got 1. Rome Odunze got 1. DJ Moore got 1. Cole Kmet got 1. He spread the love. The whole wide receiving room and the tight ends feasting today. And the Cowboys, on the other hand, oh my God. Oh God. Dak had 251 yards, 31 completions of 40 attempts, but touchdown, 2 picks. Not ideal, my friend. Not ideal at all. Javonte Williams, I'm still a huge Javonte Williams guy. I feel like maybe they should predicate this offense to running the ball, but they just got to preach job security. Fumbles been happening on this Dallas team. Don't need to be happening. Preach ball security and switch to a power run offense. I think they'll do good because, CD was banged up. He was, I hate to see him, man. I hope he's all right. It just said he just still doesn't have an update right now. Exited the first quarter with an ankle injury. That's the whole offense right there, bro. You saw George Pickens having a freaking fiesta over there on the sideline, slamming helmets, chucking bombs and boning moms. Dude was upset. So someone said George Pickens is like AB on meth. I was like, that's such an accurate take. George Pickens is AB on meth. and now he's the best receiving threat on the team. If CeeDee Lamb can't go and George Pickens has to be wide receiver 1, bro, I don't know what they're going to do. They probably should really, really invest in running the football, get Javonte Williams in the right mindset, power run. He's capable of being an RB1. He has power. He has ball carrier vision. He'll truck through you. He'll juke through you. Correction. He'll truck through you. He'll juke around you. He'll spin around you. He'll hurt you. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do, man. That was such a decisive loss from the Bears, 31-14. Bears move up to 1-2. Cowboys fall to 1-2. Let's get to the next game. Oh, man. We already went over the Chiefs and the Giants. We're not going to rehash that. The Chiefs won. Congratulations. The Giants lost. Fix your shit. Monday Night Football this week is going to wash the bad taste of Sunday Night Football out of America's mouth, okay? We just had some stank tonsil stones, eating a bunch of garlic, eating a bunch of oily foods, burps come out, and we're going to wash it down with a nice, refreshing glass of Lions versus Ravens. This game is absolutely going to be a banger. We get to see Lamar Jackson doing his thug thizzle. We get to see the Lions trying to maintain their composure in the face of Lamar Jackson. It's going to be in Baltimore. You know that stadium's about to be packed. The Orioles are already out of playoff contention. So now the entire city of Baltimore is going to be riding on the Ravens. They're ready for Lamar Jackson to keep continuing his MVP campaign, and he's absolutely in line for it too. Lamar Jackson is looking to separate himself yet again from the pack. He's throwing very accurately. He's running the ball when he needs to. Derrick Henry is running the ball great. Aside from a few fumbles, he's still King Henry. He's still got it. He still has all the speed he needs. He still has all the power he needs. He's doing great. He's going to go to work on the Lions now. Aiden Hutchinson can't stop both of them, right? The defense of the Lions knows how to adapt well, but this is such a quick offense, man. Dan Campbell's going to be coaching for his life. It's like drowning in a pool of molasses when you play the Ravens. If you could stop the pass, they'll switch to the run. If you stop the run, they'll switch to the quarterback run. If you leave a spy, that opens up the pass. Dude, they just have so many weapons. We already talked about Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is on my list for Offensive Player of the Year. His ability to separate and find the soft spots and zones is getting to be really good. I think he's taking the next step. I think he's ready to put himself in those S tier level conversations when you talk about wide receivers. He has the connection with Lamar Jackson that you see some of the greats have, that you see the Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, that you see the Tom Brady and Julian Edelmans, that you see the Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hills, that unspoken connection where you just have to look at him and he knows what to do. Lamar can just look at Zay Flowers and know, hey, when you hit the top of that route, come back. And he just knows. He does it. He doesn't have to communicate, barely has to do any hand waving. and he just does it. And then once Zay Flowers gets the ball in his hands, he's elusive. He can cut on a dime. He will tear your Achilles on both of your legs with one simple stop and go, all right? It's like his breaks are scalpels to the opponent's kneecaps. He'll put you in a blender while he puts you on skates, and dude, it's just crazy to see him work, run after the catch, evading defenders, evading tacklers, getting to the end zone. He has a nose for the end zone. He knows where to position the ball to get inside the pylon and get over the plane. Zay Flowers is a good offensive weapon, and it's just one of the many offensive weapons the Ravens have. The Ravens are trying to reinvigorate DeAndre Hopkins. He still has the hands of a top 5 wide receiver. His hands are still in the conversation of people like Keenan Allen, people like Mike Evans. They're vice grips for hands. He has lost a step in speed, but if you put him one-on-one, he's still great with the jump ball. He's still great boxing receivers out, and you saw him one-handed reception like a glove, looking like it. He looked at the camera like, next. DeAndre Hopkins is absolutely gonna cook as a wide receiver too for this Ravens team. All right, we went over Zay Flowers, we went over Derrick Henry, we went over DeAndre Hopkins. Wouldn't it be crazy? Would it be crazy if the Ravens should just get a good tight end? Oh, wait, they have Mark Andrews, who aside from the disappointing drop in the playoffs last year, is still an excellent tight end. Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson are built for each other. The same thing with Zay Flowers. He's got that same connection with Mark Andrews, except Mark Andrews can still block. Mark Andrews is elusive. He can run routes. He has good awareness whenever he needs to know when to cut, go, start, stop. He has good hands, aside from, a couple. He's still a great tight end. Top 10 tight end in the league. He just hasn't got going yet. Look for him to have a breakout game really soon. Might happen against the Lions. Who knows? And that's just the offensive side of the ball. I just went on a 10-minute rant. It's going to be way less when I edit this down about the Ravens offense. Let's talk about the defense. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Nnamdi Madubuike is out. That's one of their best pass rushers. Pass rush isn't going to be that crazy this week with Madubuike out, but you still have great linebackers. Roquan Smith, dude, had an amazing game last week. He was on my short list for Defensive Player of the Year. And you also have the best safety in football, Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton has been compared to Ed Reed. I am not the one comparing them, but I have heard it on talk shows and radio shows that he's the next coming of Ed Reed. Kyle Hamilton is not to be trifled with and taken lightly. Kyle Hamilton will lock down your number one. If he is high safety, he'll completely take away the entire deep part of the field, forcing you to throw underneath. Kyle Hamilton is that dude. He roams. He's a zone hawk. He's a ball hawk. He keeps his eye on the ball at all times. He'll get any tip drill. Best believe that. Kyle Hamilton will get a tip drill. And then if Kyle Hamilton can't stop your plays, Jair Alexander just went up in there. Yeah, he's a little older. Some are saying washed, but he's still a veteran presence. He still can coach these young guys. He can still diagnose certain offenses. He knows what counters what. He knows how to guard certain receivers. He's been in the league for a minute. He's built up tape in his head on receivers who will be playing. Unfortunately for Ravens fans, their borderline lock Hall of Fame kicker is a great defiler, but they just replaced him with Tyler Loop, and bro was hitting 60-yarders in the preseason. He might be... It would suck because the Ravens have always been able to play around well. At least we can get in Tucker's range. And if we can't capitalize on this, well, at least we can get to within 65, and we'll just nail it with our Hall of Fame, great accuracy, never been seen before kicker. They lost that edge. They lost that advantage when he had the yips last year, looking like it was going to be a sad day in Baltimore. Then the allegations came out, so they got rid of him, brought in this Tyler Loop kid, and what do you know? He's at least got the same leg as Tuck. Don't know if he has the clutch, if he has the ice, if he has the accuracy, but he's definitely still got the leg. All units on this Ravens team are just excellent. Offense, defense, special teams, there's not a lot of soft spots in their armor. There are some that can be exploited, especially with guys like Madubuike out, but the Lions are going to have their hands full. Let's go over the Lions real quick because they're deadly too. Best believe that. One of the greatest field general type quarterbacks in the league, Jared Goff. Jared Goff can sling it, and he's got a pretty deep ball. He's got a pretty touch on his passes when he needs to float it over the head of linebackers and get it down below the safeties and DBs. Jared Goff can do it all. He's not as elusive as a guy like Lamar Jackson, obviously, but he can still get around a little bit. He knows when pockets are collapsing, when he needs to roll right, roll left, when he needs to throw on the run, when he needs to plant his feet and throw, setting with his feet flat. He knows when to do all that. Him and his receivers are on really good terms. Him and Amon-Ra have the special connection. They have the spidey sense, the link, the common bond between man and receiver that knows when to move and when to run and when to stop and when to go. Amon-Ra is going to be eaten this week. They're going to try to take him away with Kyle Hamilton, with Marlon Humphrey, but Amon-Ra just finds a way to get open. Don't know how. He's like a freaking magician. Now you see me, now you don't. Then he pops up behind her DBs and takes it to the crib. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a great wide receiver, top 10 most definitely. Some might even say top 5, depending on who you're talking to. And then you got yourselves one of the best speed receivers in Jameson Williams. His hands leave some room to be desired, but his speed, his track speed, absolutely great track speed. You love to see it. Also, Isaac Tesla, freaking White Odell with cream. You've seen the catches. You've seen the one-handed catches. You saw what I am saying is the best catch since Odell when they played against Green Bay. Isaac Tesla has amazing hands. He can jump out the gym. He knows how to run routes pretty good, and his hand-eye coordination and footwork are exceptional. He somehow just has a mental sense for where the boundary is and how to stay inside of it. Isaac Tesla is a great number 3. He's going to do great with Jared Goff in the future. And the Detroit Lions got themselves a little gem in that dude. And we can't forget about the heart and soul of this backfield, Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best offensive weapons in the league. He can run, he can receive, he can block. I bet he can throw. I bet if you did a backwards pass to him and he threw it, he could throw pretty dang good. That's just me, though. Jahmyr Gibbs is so good. Oh, he was my number 1 pick in fantasy this year for a reason. Love me some Jahmyr Gibbs. It sucks when great players are on teams that I have to hate. All right, I'm a Packers fan. I have to hate Jahmyr Gibbs on the field, but I love him as a player. He's so entertaining to watch. He'll make your defenders look stupid. He will make you look so dumb. He'll make you question why you went into work, put on the pads, put on the helmet, went to the field, looked him in the eyes and tried to tackle him. He'll make you question all your life decisions. Maybe you should have been an accountant. Maybe you should have went and worked at your dad at the muffler shop, but no, you decided to be a football player, and every decision you made brought you to the here and now where you belong, facing a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, and he just juked you. And now you're on the ground crying because your Achilles popped like a gunshot. And you see Jahmyr Gibbs, number 0, running down the end zone. You could have stopped him, but you didn't. And now your season's over. And now your story is over. Your career is over. You get divorced. You become an alcoholic. You have to do a little bit of jail time just for your own good, for the safety of your family. You get out of jail. You give up the booze. You get back in the gym. You go coach football. And now you're coaching people. And you know what you tell them? You tell them, I want you to run like Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's the end of that story. Hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is good. What more can I say? And also the defense for the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson, one of the best young defensive pass rushers in the league. I will always say, till the end of my days, Jacksonville made the wrong decision taking Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. You let Hutch go to his home of Michigan and play for the Lions, who were just up and coming, ready to establish themselves in the defense because they had the offense figured out. Dan Campbell needed himself a hard-hitting, edge-rushing demon of a player, and he got it at Aiden Hutchinson. And seeing him break his leg was unfortunate, man. I love good defensive play. It sucks when he's tackling my quarterback, but I only got to deal with that twice a year and maybe in the playoffs a little bit. Other than that, love seeing him go to work. Love seeing him put tackles on their butt. Love seeing him get around centers and bust down in the gaps when they have to stop runs. Love seeing him get tackles in the backfield whenever he can blow up the run. It's great to see. I bet he could drop into coverage if he needed to. He's going to be trying to pin down Lamar Jackson, so Aiden Hutchinson is going to have his work cut out for him on the edge because Lamar Jackson loves to play edge defenders. He'll bob and weave you, and as soon as you commit one direction, he goes to the other direction. If you commit inside, he'll curve it and bend it outside. If you curve outside, he'll run up the gut. Aiden Hutchinson's going to be working, and in the middle of the field, he's got some people to help him out, starting with Jack Campbell, one of my favorite. Ooh, he's questionable. Darn. He's such a good linebacker, though. He has a great head on his shoulders. One of the better picks Dan Quinn has taken. He reminds me of who was that guy on the Cowboys? What was his name? Sean Lee? Is that his name? Did I get that? Don't tell me I pulled that. Tell me I pulled that. Google Sean Lee. Let's go. Generational autistic quarterback pull. He reminds me of Sean Lee. Oh, dude. Jack Campbell is the next coming of Sean Lee. Jack Campbell is what Another one, just Jack Campbell is what Leighton Van Der Esch should have been. Oh, I got Leighton Van Der Esch on the dome. My bag is deep, boy. Let's go. Jack Campbell is a great field general linebacker. He can diagnose defenses as well. He can drop into coverage. He can crash down on blitzes and the run. Jack Campbell is a universal weapon at linebacker. You love to see players like that because they remind you of like fundamental football, 1940s Bronco Nagurski, 1960s, 70s. Shaking in your boots just thinking about it. The defensive backs are absolutely nothing to be scoffed at. You got the up-and-coming youngster in Terry Arnold. You got one of the best safeties in the league in Brian Branch. And you got the highest paid safety in the league in Kirby Joseph. All three of those guys combined make a lockdown defense. They shut down passing game. Lamar Jackson is going to be throwing in very, very small holes this game because there's not going to be a lot of open windows with these safeties and corners working together. They are all on their own type of timing, but it's all coordinated. It's all synced. It's like women living together in a house more than 2 months. It's synced. The cycles are synced. The revolutions are in tune, okay? They know when to drop back, when to come up, when to press, when to give a little bit of cushion. You don't got to coach these guys. These are guys that can just be sent out on the field and they instinctively know how to play defense. Monday Night Football is about to be the dessert that your dad promised you if you ate your mom's meatloaf that he knows isn't good, that he just knows it isn't good. It's either overcooked or it's still raw in the middle, and she uses too much damn cumin. Who puts cumin in meatloaf? But you have to eat it because you don't want to make mom feel bad because you remember what happened at Mother's Day. Monday Night Football will wash the bad taste of the Chiefs and Giants game out of our mouth. I am still thoroughly incensed about it. I am so pissed that America had to watch that for 3.5 hours. That's my sport, okay? This is my passion, and I will not see it sullied by the likes of Brian Daboll and Russell Wilson. And luckily, the NFL knew we were going to have to sit through that, and dessert is the Lions and the Ravens. Two of the best teams in their conferences, two of the best teams in their divisions, two of the best teams in their conferences, two of the best teams in their divisions, two of the guys that you think are going to win the Super Bowl. They're on the short list of favorites for both conferences. They're guys with weapons. They're guys with great coaching. They're guys with good historical experience. There are guys that are both rookies looking to prove themselves and veterans looking to set the way for them. This is going to be a great game. Expect to see a shootout. These defenses are great, but there's going to be a lot of scoring, be it defensive scoring, be it special team scoring, be it offensive scoring. Points are going on that board, and we're going to be so happy when they do. The Giants-Chiefs game was 9-6 at halftime. All right? This will not be the case. This game will not be 9-6 at halftime. It's going to be at least 14 to something. This is going to be a good game. Book it. Circle your calendars. If you got work tomorrow, be sick. This is one you're not going to want to miss, okay? I'll be posting an after update as soon as it's over because I know it's going to be a blockbuster. But anyways, that has been our Week 3 recap and our Week 3 Monday Night Football look ahead. I'm going to post this whole video and get back to bed because I'm tired, bro. Just so freaking tired. Real quick, you are loved. I promise. If someone hasn't told you I love you in a long time, listen here, I love you, all right? I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that we're bonding together over our mutual love for sport. Sport brings people together. Sport is when people learn what it means to be a part of a team. And right now, we're a team, okay? Be good. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. My name's Barry. I love talking about football. I will be back talking about football very soon. Y'all take care. Have a good one.